Okay, so the other night, when I was making the Star Trek video, I found an article that was in the headlines or whatever about how they're selling the original Love Bug car. Um, so anyway, I checked out this movie. It's going on auction or whatever. So anyway, the first thing I talked about was how it's called the Love Bug. Love. We've been talking about that. Valentine's Day, Lupercalia. Love is actually adds up to 54, and evil, its mirror is 45. That's where and then it's all about. There's a ton of stuff with 49. So anyway, love is 40. Love is 54. The Love Bug, and the movie is 108 minutes long, which is 54 plus 54. Also, the movie I talked about is everything with 49 and whatnot is uh, been going on like crazy, and I've been talking about San Francisco, and the movie actually takes place in San Francisco. So anyway, I'm going to talk about this movie and another movie, and it's not so much this movie, I guess, but there's a reason for it, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. And sorry, my hopefully the mics sounded better. I don't know. I must have something happened. The volume got turned way up, and then I can't figure out a level anymore. Um, like I said, my computer's from 2007 and whatnot. Just everything I have is just old. I'm using a wireless microphone actually, and then it gets messed up from the frequency in my house and everything else. But anyway, sorry for rambling. But um, so whatever. This movie, the very first car that this guy drives in the movie, and he wrecks in the beginning before he finds Herbie, it's an Edsel. And then they even make it a fact that they show you that he wrecked it and they turned it into a sculpture. But let's check out Edsel. So the Edsel was a car by the Ford Motor Company that was made during 1958, 59, and 60. And the car is actually named after Henry Ford's only son, whose name is Edsel. But let's check out Henry Ford really quick. I just wanted to point out one little thing here with Henry Ford. Henry Ford died on April 7th, which is 4/7 in 47. So he died on 4/7 of 47. Thought that was interesting. Anyway, let's check out his son then, Edsel. Edsel B. Ford here. He was born on November 6th, which is your 11/6/66. There's 55 days left until the end of the year, and that actually is pretty significant in the other movie that I'm talking about. Um, anyway, oh yeah, here we go. Look when he died, age 49. So everything we've been talking about, 49 has been huge. This guy dies at age 49. All right, so anyway, Edsel actually adds up to 45, and the name Ford adds up to 43. Interesting though that he died in 1943, and Ford adds at 43. I mean that doesn't have to mean that much, but just kind of interesting. So Edsel Ford adds up to 88. So then after he makes the Edsel into a sculpture, that's when he finds Herbie or whatever. And so Herbie takes over or whatever. But Herbie is actually a 1963 Volkswagen Beetle. And what's interesting, 1963 is the year Michael Jordan was born. And it's all about Space Jam. It still even is about Space Jam, which I'll show you from the next movie. But it's all about it. But anyway, let's check out Volkswagen. So Volkswagen or VW or 2223, which is 55, comes up yet again. Also, it's also V and then VV, which is 22, 22, and 22. But so Volkswagen, it was founded in 1937, and it was actually founded by the German Labor Front, like with the Nazi regime and whatever. But anyway, the guy who led the German Labor Front was Robert Ley. And he was born on the last day of Lupercalia, and he died in 1945. So there we go, another 45. 45, 49, and 44 are all connected. But what's interesting, he died at age 55. Remember, Volkswagen is 55. So just pretty weird. Also forgot to point out that Volkswagen is a German automobile manufacturer headquartered in Wolfsburg, Germany. So Wolfsburg, Lupercalia is all about the wolf, right? So Wolfsburg. I thought that was kind of funny. And the car is a Volkswagen Beetle. Beetle is 49. So I watched this whole movie, and like I said, there really isn't a whole lot of stuff in this movie in particular, other than the fact that it's based in San Francisco, which is the big 49 and whatnot. But there's a few numbers, I guess, in the movie, but the only ones that really stick out, they really put in your face, is the protagonist guy here. He drives number 14, and then the main character drives Herbie, Herbie is number 53. And I thought about it, and I was like, why 53, right? So I'm pretty sure I figured it out. So let me show you here. Ooh, hold on one second. This is November 8th. November 8th, or 11/8/88, there are 53 days left. So Herbie's number 53. It goes with an 88. Also, the mirror day of that is February 22nd, 222, 53rd day. So I've talked about how 88 and the 22 or the 222, they're all connected. Been talking about that forever. So, and they're both 53 days. And then I just wrote down the mirror days of them, like 35, and just to see if I will notice them in anything else. But just putting them in there just so as a reference for anybody that's kind of looking up this stuff or whatever. So you might be able to just glance at this and know. And in the last video, I talked about flux capacitor, because this is all about, I swear it's all about time travel or something. They're using these movies. They're definitely using Back to the Future, Space Jam, and Teen Wolf. But anyway, flux capacitor is 149. 149 is the 35th prime, so the mirror of 53. And then I just wrote in the 53rd prime. It's 241, just for reference or whatever, in case I see that as well. But I wanted to point out that 53 plus 35 is 88. So the 53 in its mirror is 88. And it's been so long, my brain has got so much information in it. I can't remember how many numbers actually do this. I don't think it was very many. But I know I made a video on it a while back, so whatever. Moving on. So like I said, didn't find a whole lot other than the 53 and the San Francisco thing in this movie. But anyway, so there's a ton of movies too. This one's called The Love Bug. The rest of them are called something with Herbie. And I thought of the very last movie with Lindsay Lohan, and it's literally called Herbie Fully Loaded. And you wonder, like, why is it called Fully Loaded? It really, like, what's the significance of that? Well, the movie is fully loaded with tons of things in it. That's why it's called Fully Loaded, I think, because they actually loaded it up with subliminal stuff that most people would probably never, ever look into. But anyway, let's talk about this movie. So right off the bat, I'm reading here, Herbie is a 2005 American comedy directed by Angela Robinson. Angela Robinson, born in San Francisco. This movie actually takes place in Los Angeles, not San Francisco. But so she's born in San Francisco on Valentine's Day, 1971, and she is 44. So 44, Valentine's Day, and San Francisco is the director of this movie. So the beginning of this movie here, it does a bunch of like newspaper article flashes and whatnot, and it's really hard to see here, but it actually says Friday, February, and I can't tell if it says 14th or 24th, but it says you can read Friday, February 1964. And later on, it actually shows you 24th. and it says Friday, February 24th, but that actually doesn't make sense, and I'll show you why here. And the reason I stopped on this one is because this is like at the very end of the very first movie when the car splits, kind of like maybe that's subliminal for the San Andreas fault. Who knows? But the car splits in half and it beats the 14, so he gets first and third place. But and that's what this article brings up. But it says Friday, and in 1964, Valentine's Day was a Friday. So like I said, I can't make out if it's 14th, 24th, or just the 4th. But Valentine's Day, this day of the week, is a Friday, 1964. So let's look at the other days just to show you what I'm talking about. It can't be February 4th because that day was a Tuesday. And it can't be February 24th because that day is a Monday. So Friday, February 14th is what it, I mean, maybe it does say the 24th. It's really hard to see. It looks like 24th, but that's kind of weird that they write Friday and it's not really a Friday. Movie blooper, I guess, but interesting that Friday was actually the Valentines. And the 24th, I just want to point out, is the 55th day of the year. So there's another 55. And I'll move on and I'll show you the other one. Then they show 53 parties at Studio 54. 53, 54 is 107, and 107 is the 28th prime. And I've been talking about how I don't think it's going to be this year. I think it's going to be next year, 2016. And 2016, so 28 will be 28 years from 1988 and 2016. So who knows? Then they show this article, Herbie the Little Daredevil, and the date is Friday, November 10th, 1968. And it's funny that they mentioned the Daredevil and with November 10th. I know I talked about devil and whatever. They do a lot of devil things on November 10th. Like the movie Little Nicky came out on November 10th. It's actually my birthday. And that's why I looked it up. That's why I know so much about it. But it's 37 days away from October 4th, the big 88 day. I think it's 88 days away from the 37th day of the year. There's all kinds of significant stuff, but just wanted to point out that it's the word devil, and then they show November 10th. And then here they show Herbie driving on top of the Golden Gate Bridge. Then another article says Herbie hangs with the Knight Rider. So I looked up Knight Rider, and it says that it originally ran September 26, 1982, which actually is significant in this movie because the protagonist in this movie drives the number 82 car. 82 is, it is 33 years ago to 2015, or 33 years ago to 2015. So yeah, 33 years ago, depending on the date, I guess, it could be 32. But it ended on August 8th, 1986. And the episodes are 45 minutes long. But I'm not sure, this is August 8th here. But when you look up the actual episodes, and you go to the last episode, it says April 4th, well, which is just as significant. 4/4, April 4th. All kinds of stuff with that. 144. So who knows? But anyway, this episode, it also says the story was by R. Timothy Kring. And you come to here, and he was born in 57, is 57. But what I thought was interesting is that he's also known for working on Teen Wolf 2, the second Teen Wolf Part 2. So I talked about how it's all about Teen Wolf, Back to the Future, Space Jam. It even says he's the creator of the TV show called Heroes. And then right here it says February 22nd, so 222. During its Olympic coverage, NBC announced Heroes is coming back as a 13 episode event miniseries titled Heroes Reborn. So they even put a 222 in with this guy. Also wanted to point out the 88th episode was actually on 3/7. So 37 and 88 together again. And I'll go a little more in detail again with this in a little bit. I think it comes up again. So just 1 second. This guy was the creator of Knight Rider, and he was born January 3rd, 1937, and died in 2014 on November 14th. So 444, 1937, and he died at age 77. And David Hasselhoff is the main character in Knight Rider. He's born in 52, which Michael Jordan, it's the mirror of the 1963, so it's Michael Jordan was born in 63, is 52. David Hasselhoff was born in 52, will be 63. Also, he's born on July 17th, which if you go to the Gregorian and Julian calendar converter, July 17th is also the same as July 4th, 7-4. And then right here it clearly shows Friday, February 24th, 1964. Now, that just doesn't make sense because it wasn't a Friday. But just wanted to point that out that I can actually read it here. So that's probably what it says before, but weird that it's a Friday. And the only thing with the 4 in it on February that year was Valentine's Day. Also wanted to point out that 64, so it's the mere 64th day of the year is March 5th, which is 3-5, so the mirror of 53. And May 3rd would be 5-3. And May 3rd adds up to 98. And 98 is 49 plus 49. So 53, May 3rd, 98, 49 plus 49. Which also, by the way, in simple gematria, is the only day that actually adds up to 98. I typed in 49 just to figure out what days would add up to 49. None of the months and days actually up to 49, but the word fifth adds up to 49, and that makes a lot of sense considering they do a decent amount of 55s in this movie. Like I just talked about the February 24th, that it says Friday and it's not right. Well, February 24th is the 55th day of the year. 64 is also a leap year, so it's 22 days away from St. Patrick's Day, is February 24th that year. Then right here they mention again the 55. Known as Herbie has won all 5 of his last 5 races. His chief competition comes from favorite Herbie disappoints. Whatever. So basically they're telling you that Herbie has won all 5 of his last 5 races, and they show this multiple times. They also show it once again here, the same article I believe, but it's just a different thing. It says he won all 5 of his last 5 races. It says he moonlights as a taxi. Taxi adds up to 54, just like the word love. Also shows April 2nd. April 2nd adds up to 116, and 11/6 is there's 45 days left until the end of the year. Then at Go Figure 222, they show an article about the 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And now what's interesting is that I made a video about the number 44 car in NASCAR this year got stolen on 2/27. That's the Valentine's Day on the Julian calendar. It's also Pi and a bunch of other things. But and I made the video about how they weren't going to race again until 3/8 in Las Vegas, and 3/8 was the anniversary of the missing Malaysian airline with the 227 passengers or whatever. So the car gets stolen on 2/27, and they're not going to race again until 3/8 in Las Vegas. And then, oh yeah, it was the number 44 car. So just found that interesting that they actually put this in here, especially at the timestamp that it is on. So kind of funny. Then right here, she just graduated college, and she gets a job at ESPN. And this lady says, "Congrats on the job at ESPN." And ESPN actually adds up to 54, same as Love. So let's look at ESPN a little more. ESPN launched September 7th, which, so Julian calendar, that would be 7/7 1979. So 79 we've already established that's connected with 22, but I didn't realize that it was 35 years ago. So 35 is the mirror of Herbie 53, or Herbie's car 53. ESPN is 80% owned by Disney and 20% owned by the Hearst Corporation. And I've talked about Hearst before. The guy who founded it, he died at age 88. Just pointing it out here. I mean, honestly, why? Just read through here. Honestly, why is this in here even? As of February 2015, ESPN is available to approximately 94 million, whatever that is, paid television households. So 94, the mirror of 49, and then it says 81.1% of households with at least one television set. 8, 11, 88, and then they would have the 49.94 reference. It even talks about how these guys got fired from the New England Whalers, and that's who started ESPN. Bill and his son Scott, which talked about the great Scott and whatever. Stuart Scott just died this year. Anyway, they started it in Plainville, but they couldn't have satellites, so they found land in Bristol, Connecticut, and that land, the funding for the land was provided by Getty Oil on 2/22/79. I mean, really, it's just ridiculous. It's even designated like their age range is 18 to 49-year-olds, men. That's what their listening audience is, or whatever. What they're trying to get is 18 to 49-year-old males. Like, why 49? Why not 60, or why not just 50? It's just weird. So her dad even owns a NASCAR team, and their number is 56. And 1956 is 59 years ago. And I talked about multiple times in other videos. I know I say that a lot, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to go back and explain it. But 59 and 55 go hand in hand, just like 45 and 49. They use them together. So I just thought that was kind of weird that I talked about 55s or whatever. Also, like I said, this is in Los Angeles, and she is wearing a shirt with like the sun or whatever that is. I don't know what that is, but it has the Golden Gate Bridge on it, and I think that's the sun and the Golden Gate Bridge. So they put a San Francisco reference in there, probably because that's where the original Herbie came from. That's what most people would say, I guess. But it's the only time that she wears this shirt. So then when she goes to the junkyard to find Herbie, or find a car, she finds Herbie. She's wearing this Goodyear hat. And Goodyear was founded by Frank Sieberling. And of course, he was born in 1859 and died in 1955. So 55, 59. He even died on August 11th, which is 8/11/88. Even more interesting is his name is Frank. And I had a videos along, one of my first videos is Frank Lucifer. So you got Frank, and then 59, 55, or 55, 59. It all has to do with Satan. The word Satan adds up to 55. And he named the company after Charles Goodyear, the guy who invented vulcanized rubber. Charles Goodyear, born on December 29th, which adds up to 227 pi, also died age 59. Weird. I also forgot on this guy, he died at age 95. And 95 is the mirror of 59, and it's went with 9 sets of, 9, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, which is, they add up to 6, which, so 95 is actually a 666. Talked about that in my Erling, Iowa video. Anyway, just wanted to point that out, I guess. It even says that the guy provided Henry in 1901 provided Henry Ford with racing tires. So talked about Henry Ford and Edson and whatnot. So just thought that was kind of interesting that that's thrown in there, I guess. And then she ends up getting Herbie, and her dad fixes the tire or whatever. And then he says, "Look at that! The speedometer even goes up to 200 miles an hour." But look at the mileage here: 5,5,5,5,5. Like, so 5 5s, 55. I mean, weird. So, man, now I gotta bust into something completely off the subject, kind of. But so her dad is played by Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is the original Batman, or at least the original Batman from the Tim Burton movies and whatnot that I remember, or at least the movies. I don't know. Maybe I honestly can't find one, but I really think he's the original Batman in the films. But anyway, he's also in Beetlejuice that came out in 1988. Another really big movie. And Beetlejuice, Beetlegeist, all kinds of crap. I'm not going to go that much more into it, but for whatever the reason, I thought of him as Batman, and then I thought of Heath Ledger again, and I thought of the Joker. So I looked up Heath Ledger again. I thought, oh, maybe he died on the 49th day or something like that. I don't know. So he did day of the year in 2008. If you take out the it's 28. He died at 28. 22nd day, but what I found interesting was that he was born on April 4th, 1979. Just talked about 79 as 35 years ago. Well, actually, it's 36 now, on his birthday at least, but 4/4. April 4th adds up to 88, Chicago, Illinois, adds up to 80, April 4th adds up to 144. Chicago, Illinois adds up to 144. Not significant because of Obama, Michael Jordan, Bill Murray. The word 44 adds up to 144. And Herbie Fully Unloaded, it says it grossed over 144 million worldwide. So just pointing that out, that this movie, it has Batman in it, and then the Joker was born on 4/4, and then 144 million. So once again, for whatever the reason, the only thing I could think of when I thought of the Joker was the Joker, the song by the Steve Miller Band. And I knew it was probably from the 70s, I assumed, and I thought, oh, maybe it was 79. I thought it was earlier, but so I looked up the Joker. Because if it was matched to 79, that'd be pretty weird, but it doesn't. So the song was actually on their 1973, which is significant, album called The Joker, and the song was called The Joker. It says the song, Steve Miller references the Clovers' 1954 song Lovey Dovey. 1954, 54 is love. Then it says the song is noted for its wolf whistle played on a slide guitar after the lovey-dovey part. The or whatever. Some people call me whatever. The song Wolf Whistle. The wolf, Lupercalia, love, wolf. Then it talks about the line, some people call me Maurice. It was written after he heard the song The Letter by the Medallions. In the Vernon Green, Vernon Green. Vernon adds up to 88. Green adds up to 49. And Maurice adds up to 70. 1970 was 45 years ago. And just want to point out, Vernon Green was born in 1937 on May 1st. So anyway, let's check out the Steve Miller Band in general. Steve Miller Band. The band formed in 1966. Which is 49 years ago. Even more significant, they formed in San Francisco. So San Francisco, 49 years ago, Steve Miller Band. All right, so let's look at some of their albums. They had an album in 1988 called Born, the number 2, the letter B, and then Blue. Born to be Blue, 1988. Well, Born to be Blue, B to B B, B to B B. 2 is the second, or B is the second letter of the alphabet, so it's B B B B. And then it's also could be 22222, or B's look like 8s, so they are. It could be 8888, which is significant to Revelation. They have a 1982 album called Abracadabra, and you got the all-seeing eye on here on the cover. 82 is significant because the guy, I'll show you in a little bit, the protagonist in the movie, he drives the number 82 car. 82 will be 33 years ago. But Abracadabra is all about Aleister Crowley. Abracadabra is the first word publicly appeared in the Book of Law by Aleister Crowley. Described it as the word of the Aeon. And it's the central sacred text of Thelema, which I talked about in I think the last video. But anyway, it's not, he actually took the C out of abracadabra and replaced it with an H. Well, H is 8, but also it says here it's supposed to be for the god of Horus and the Hermetic order. There's all kinds of stuff, but I'm not going to go in depth. This video is so long already, and I got tons more. So just wanted to point the fact out that Abracadabra actually goes with, it's part of Aleister Crowley. Their 5th album is called Number 5. They came out in 1970, which is 45 years ago. So pretty interesting. Number 5, 5th album, came out 45 years ago, or will be 45 years ago in November. The Joker was on their 1973 album, but it was actually their 8th album, so kind of significant that it's their 8th album. And then the most interesting I found, and it ties in with Space Jam here, they have an album called Fly Like an Eagle that came out in 1976. Okay, so Fly Like an Eagle it's actually their song. Okay, so let's check out the actual song, Fly Like an Eagle. So it shows you, it says it went to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 on March 12th, 1977. And then you scroll down a little bit farther, and you find out, so British artist Seal covered Fly Like an Eagle for the Space Jam soundtrack. So Fly Like an Eagle is actually on Space Jam. And Seal, I've talked about this before, I think. But anyway, Seal, he's also famous for his other top song called Kiss from a Rose. So the Rose, Valentine's Day, all kinds of crap. Seal was born in 1963, actually 2 days after Michael Jordan. Seal also adds up to 37. But so I'm scrolling down here and you read other cover versions, blah blah blah, and then you find additional information. And it was so strange. This is the weirdest thing of all day here. My girlfriend, her favorite show is actually Futurama, but she works overnights, and it was just earlier tonight, and she was laying on the couch, and she always turns on Futurama before she goes to bed. I don't know why. That's just what she does. She listens to Futurama while she goes to bed. And she turned it on. I didn't even know she turned it on. I was sitting here, and I was reading about all this. And so I scroll down, and I'm reading, and I see the Futurama episode, Time Keeps on Slipping, comes from a line in the song. And I clicked on this, and I was sitting here, and I mean, she had the episode on for probably 10 minutes. I mean, whatever. I mean, she went to bed or whatever, and I'm sitting here and I'm reading through here, and then I started thinking about her, and I was like, wow. And then I looked up at the TV. I don't even know. It was so strange. But I looked up at the TV, and Futurama was on as I'm reading this, and I have no idea. She has no idea what I'm even reading. I got to keep saying that because it was that crazy. Anyway, I'm reading about this episode. Time keeps on slipping, and it's the 14th episode of the 3rd season. So it is literally 314, which is pi. Episode, or 3rd season, 14th episode. 314, pi. March 14th is also the 73rd day of the year. Anyway, the episode is about the Globetrotters coming, and they challenge the Futurama people to a basketball game, and it's going to destroy the Earth if they lose. Basically, civilization. And anyway, it even says right here, Professor Farnsworth accepts the Globetrotters challenge, resolving to create a team of mutant atomic supermen to take them on, similar to Space Jam. But anyway, what's so amazing about this is I look up after I'm reading all of this, and I realize that Futurama is actually on the TV. And the episode that is on the TV is this episode. I mean, literally, I'm not kidding you. I'm reading about this episode, and my girlfriend turned it on, didn't even know what episode it is. She just DVRs them, turned on a random episode, went to bed. 10 minutes later, I'm reading about this, have no idea Futurama's even on. I look up, and Futurama, that same exact episode is on. What are the odds of that? I mean, it's so ridiculous. This type of stuff happens to me every day, all day long. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's all I can say. I don't understand it. I don't get how that happens to me so often. I just don't understand it. I know it happens to other people, but it's just starting to get out of hand. Ever since I started making videos, I mean, I've wrote down stuff for probably like 6 years. I have a huge notepad full of stuff, but ever since I started making videos, it's just gotten out of hand. It's everywhere. Anyway, I'm sorry for rambling. It just amazes me. But let's check out this episode of Futurama. Anyway, this episode starts out with Fry trying to get on Leela or whatever. Like pretty much every episode of Futurama, Fry is trying to date Leela, whatever. So look at Fry adds up to 49. Leela adds up to 35. Herbie, the mirror of Herbie, 49, 35. Globetrotters. That's the Globetrotters come and they're going to destroy the Earth if they, like Space Jam, if the Globetrotters win, the Earth will get destroyed, blah, blah, blah. But Globetrotters adds up to 176, which is 88 plus 88. And here's just a little screenshot of them coming off the spaceship, so you get what I'm talking about. And it's funny because this whole episode's about time travel, or time skips and time space and all that. And they don't play at the Madison Square Garden. They play at the Madison Cube Garden. So it's pretty interesting, you know, the Saturn Cube, whatever. But Madison Cube Garden. The head of Marv Albert is the announcer of this game. Marv Albert is 73 years old. They also mentioned 86 multiple times in this episode, which is kind of weird, but it says Marv Albert was the reporter and co-host of 2 World Series, 1986 and 1988. So we know 88 in time, but then 86 as well. And then they mentioned 86 multiple times in this episode. The first time they show a score, it's 45 to 42. The Globetrotters are actually losing. So 45 and also 42 has been really significant lately. Then since he used chronotons to feed his mutants, time starts skipping or whatever, and Amy, out of the blue, just says, what's wrong with it? is it my fault because of my outfit? And she's wearing this heart-shaped thing over her boobs. Like, so, I mean, love is the problem with the time travel, or love is connected to the time travel. I don't know, it's pretty weird. They throw that in there for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Right after that, one of the mutants shoots his cannon and kills the spider mutant. And he says, "We need a new fifth man." And Fry says, "Ooh, let me do it." And they say, "Are you going to be able to pay the bills?" And Fry says, "Who cares? We're up by 35 with 2 minutes to go." So once again, they put 35 in there, and then with 2 minutes to go. And then right after that, time skips, and they find out they actually lose 244 to 86. So like I said, they mentioned 86 a lot. 244 is actually 122 plus 122, the same day Heath Ledger died. Even right here, like, Fry doesn't know how to get Leela, whatever, and he says, 86, the chump stuff, man, like, cut it out. And then, like, just right after that, Leela comes back in, and Fry tries to impress her, and he says, "So, are we dating now?" And she says, "Is that what it's all about? Just cut it out." So just 86. It's weird. And then, right here, I just thought it was kind of interesting. They're trying to figure out the algebra of the problem or whatever. And when you look at the back of the board here, and this is backwards, 360 degrees, so 360 prophetic year, prophetic year, and then also you got the Jesus fish, or the Pisces, or whatever they want to call it. But why is that? What is that on there? Maybe I don't know that much about math, but why is this on there? This is kind of weird to me, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's some math symbol. I'm not that sweet at math, but weird they have the Jesus fish on there with 360 degrees right below it. Then Fry writes, "I love you, Leela," in the stars, but they blow up before Leela can see him, and he's all sad. And then Bender, the robot, starts whistling the song "Sweet Georgia Brown." And if you look up "Sweet Georgia Brown," it says it's written by Ben Burney. Reportedly, Ben Burney came up with the concept for the lyrics, although he is not a credited lyricist after meeting Dr. George Thaddeus Brown in New York City. Dr. Brown, Emmett Brown, right, for Back to the Future, a longtime member of the State House of Representatives for Georgia, told Burney about Dr. Brown's daughter, Georgia Brown, and how subsequent to the baby girl's birth on August 11th, 8/11/88 of 1911, 9/11, which actually, by the way, will be 104 years, 10/4, which is a big 88 day this year. But anyway, it says the Georgia Assembly. So basically, the song was about that guy's Dr. Brown's daughter, Georgia, and because she was born, I think, on the Georgia General Assembly when they issued a declaration or whatever. So, they issued the declaration that her name would be Georgia on this day or whatever. So, pretty interesting. Doc Brown, August 11th, 88, time travel, and then 1911 as well. It also said the Brother Bones recording is widely known as the theme song of the Harlem Globetrotters. So the song, the reason they're doing it is because of the Harlem Globetrotters. Supposedly, that's why they do it. But Brother Bones, BB88, was born on October 4th, 1902. October 4th, huge day, talk about it tons of times. Just not even going to go into it. The song was even by Ben Burney, BB88. He died he died age 52. This song here it was recorded in 1925. Okay, hold on. This is crazy. He was born Freeman Davis. His 1949 recording of the 1925 standard Sweet Georgia Brown. So Brother Bones was an American whistling and bone playing recording artist from Montgomery, Alabama. He was born Freeman Davis. his 1949 song recording of the 1925 standard Sweet Georgia Brown became internationally famous after being adopted as the theme song of the Harlem Globetrotters basketball team in 1952. So the original recording was 1925. It became the Harlem Globetrotters theme song in 1952. 25, 52 are mirrors, and it was actually a 1949 recording that became the 1952 Harlem Globetrotters theme song. So 49, 25, 52, the mirrors. And he was born on October 4th, and he BB 88. Wow. Even the Harlem Globetrotters. It says founded in 1926. History 26 to 27. And if you read down here, the official history contains several details which seem contradictory, such as the team being organized in 1926 in Chicago's Savoy Ballroom, which opened in 1927. But, so, whatever, not even going to go that in depth with it, but 1926 from last year was 88 years ago, and 1927 is 88 years ago from 2015. So, the Globetrotters could or could not be 88 years old this year. You even go a little farther on them, and you said the Moscow Games in 1959. The Globetrotters played 9 games in Moscow, blah, blah, blah. The team included Wilt Chamberlain. They met Premier Nikita Khrushchev, which is in Back to the Future, or at least Back to the Future 2. Anyway, and I talked about this before, but he died September 11th. He was 77 years old. Also, weird, April 15th, Boston bombing, whatever. But he became the premier of Russia, or Soviet Union. He was premier of Soviet Union until 1964. And that just reminds me of Herbie again. And then here where it talks about the game still, it says that the Russians were in awe because they didn't realize it wasn't like a high competition game. And it says the Globetrotters brought their own opponent, not the Washington Generals, but the San Francisco Chinese Basketeers. Like, so they brought San Francisco. Like, why even mention not Washington? This is weird. So back to the Futurama episode, it says that it was actually based on the story Strange Romance by Harry Stephen Keeler. So this guy was born on 11/3/33, died on 1/22, same day as Heath Ledger. He died in 1967, and he was 76 years old when he died, so the mirror of 67, he died 76 in 67. And from what I'm reading, he wasn't a super famous author, but for some reason he's used in a decent amount of things that, like in the future. So basically he was in, like, they talk about the Futurama episode. The producer is Ken Keeler, but there's no relation. Let's just look at Ken Keeler, KK 1111. He's born, well, it says he's 53 or 54. Who knows? Could be, well, it's Herbie, and that's also Love. Whatever, we'll move on. I wanted to talk about here. It says, R. Kelly's series of music videos, Trapped in the Closet, shows a number of parallels to Keeler's style. R. Kelly, Space Jam. And R. Kelly was born 14 days before that guy died in 1967. But I remember him mostly for Space Jam, and then his little sex scandal thing, rape or whatever it was. That's just what I remember him for. And then the Chappelle Show, I'll pee on you or whatever. But anyway, I didn't realize he was married to Aaliyah. And I did a video on Aaliyah a while back. And she actually died in 1979. So 22 prime number, 22nd prime number. And she was 22. I don't think I ever talked about that because I never knew that at the time that I made the video. But pretty interesting. And right here they show, I'm back to the Herbie again finally. I'm sorry for going off on a rant, but it all leads to Space Jam and everything I've been talking about forever. So they show Stuart Scott right here. I made a video about Stuart Scott right the day after he died. I made a video the day before about the Great Scott and Back to the Future and the New Year's Eve song and whatever. And then Stuart Scott died the very next day, no lie. Anyway, let's look at Stuart Scott again. Stuart Scott died on January 4th, 2015, at the age of 49. Now, weird. There's so many 49 references. So he dies at 49. I talked about the Great Scott. Russell Westbrook is another person. I've talked multiple times about Russell Westbrook being the Monstar because he's number 0. All about Valentines Day, Lupercalia, whatever. And I realized one other thing about Russell Westbrook the other day. He was born on November 12th, 1988. And November 12th there's 49 days left until the end of the year. Just want to pull it up and prove it. 49 days remaining. Just another reason. So we got him with 49. You had Tom Brady was surrounded by 49 because it's Super Bowl 49, 37, 49, whatever. Stuart Scott dies at age 49. 49 is everywhere. Also, I wanted to point out the guy who drives 82 car, like I talked about, was Matt Dillon. He plays the character. And just look at when he was born. February 18th, the 49th day of the year, 1964, the same year that Herbie won on Valentine's Day, according to the newspaper, and then 49th day of the year, 49. Herbie is 45. He's also 51, active since 79, but 51, I think there was something I was going to talk about. Let me look. Yeah, that's what it was. So Matt Dillon is 51. Michael Keaton was born in 1951, and he's the original Batman on the movies, at least. And if you add up Batman equals 51. Weird. And I never showed it yet. Just want to show you that his car is the 82 car here. And then here it shows Herbie in first place with the average time 22.015. So 2015, 22, and it says the average miles per hour was 220, but yeah, the car can only go 200 miles an hour, it says, so kind of weird. I mean, it could be a 22 reference. Also, 220 is the 51st day of the year, and I just talked about 51. Then in the actual NASCAR race at the very end, Herbie connects to the 88 car driven by Dale Jarrett. It's the only time it happens that it actually connects to any car, and it basically connects to him, and then it helps him slingshot around. So, I mean, the 53 and the 88 connection, right? I mean, at the very beginning, I showed you that 53 and its mirror 35 is 88. November 8th, the 88. That's why it's connected. That's why the 53 connects to the 88, because they are connected. It's about time travel, whatever. But it slingshots across, or slingshots ahead from that guy. And Dale Jarrett was the guy driving the 88, and he was born on November 26th, which is 35 days left until the end of the year. So a mirror of 53. But my computer is freezing like crazy all of a sudden now, so I'm just going to end. It's like 4 in the morning, so I'm going to end this video. Hopefully put all these pieces together, make the longest video of my entire life. I might separate them and put them on YouTube and separate things, who knows. But anyway, basically she wins the NASCAR race and gets on Justin Long, the guy she's in love with, whatever. And then Herbie goes on a date with his yellow Beetlebug car or whatever. But I guess that's all I'm gonna say. There's just so much crap, so many things, and weird that I find this from an article talking about San Francisco for how long, and then I find an article like in the top trends. It was actually in Yahoo, like right in the very beginning of the top articles, and it talked about the selling of this original car. That's what all led me to this. It's all about love, Lupercalia, um, whatever. Just throwing it out there. Have a great night. Hopefully you watch this whole video, and hopefully you enjoy it and it makes sense. So yeah, I'm done rambling. Bye.